All right, so prepping for a medical records manager interview
Oh, yeah.
can feel kind of overwhelming, right? Like you're
Yeah.
facing a mountain of medical charts.
That's a lot.
But don't sweat it. We've got you covered today.
Exactly.
We're diving deep into RoleCatcher's resources.
Interview guides are great.
They have a career guide, interview guide,
Yeah.
even an AI tool to help you personalize your prep.
Really interesting stuff.
And trust me, these aren't your typical run-of-the-mill prep materials.
Yeah.
We're talking serious insights.
Yeah, you'll have a real leg up.
They can give you a real edge.
Absolutely.
What I find fascinating is how RoleCatcher goes beyond just like the basics.
Yeah.
They actually help you understand
Right.
how this role has evolved,
Uh-huh.
pinpoint the skills that truly matter, and even use AI to personalize your approach.
It's pretty amazing.
So before we even get to those interview questions,
Oh, okay.
let's paint a picture of what a medical records manager actually does day to day.
Mm.
It's got to be more than just, dealing with mountains of paperwork. Huh?
Well, definitely more.
Okay.
You're the guardian of all those vital patient records.
I like that.
You know?
The guardian.
The Guardian RoleCatcher's Career Guide
Yeah.
talks about managing entire medical records units.
Wow.
Making sure all that data is accurate and confidential, even supervising staff
Oh, wow.
and implementing policies.
Okay, so there's a real management component to this.
There is.
Yeah.
It's a fast-paced, high-stress world,
For sure.
but absolutely crucial to how healthcare actually functions.
I bet.
Yeah.
I'm also guessing that technology plays a huge role now
Nope, absolutely.
with those electronic medical records, EMRs everywhere.
It's a total game changer.
Right.
That's a huge shift in the field.
Yeah.
Knowing about EMR systems and how they work is going to be huge for you in your interview.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay. I like interesting.
A career guide emphasizes that technical expertise is only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay. So there's more to it than just the tech.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They highlight a whole range of skills that you might not even expect.
Like-
Things like critical thinking,
Mhm.
reading comprehension,
Okay.
even active listening.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how do we actually translate those skills into something an interviewer is going to be impressed by?
Good question.
Is this where we start digging into RoleCatcher's interview guide?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've got 8 common questions
Hmm.
that medical records manager candidates often face.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack each one,
Love it.
not just how to answer,
Right.
but what the interviewer is really looking for and
Yeah.
the common traps to avoid.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the first one.
Okay.
It seems pretty straightforward.
Uh-huh.
Can you describe your experience with electronic health record systems?
It's a classic.
But I bet there's a smarter way to answer this
Oh, yeah.
than just listing off every system you've used, right?
Definitely. Think about it from the interviewer's perspective.
Okay.
They want to know how you've actually used those systems to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
The interview guide's insights section
Okay.
suggests focusing on specific tasks,
Uh-huh.
challenges you've overcome,
Right.
and how you've used EHRs to actually improve things,
Okay.
like efficiency
Yeah.
or even patient care.
Okay, so give me an example. So instead of just saying, I'm familiar with Epic,
Right.
I should say something like,
Yeah.
at my previous role, I used Epic to streamline patient registration,
Perfect.
which led to a 15% reduction in wait times.
Now you're talking.
Okay.
That kind of example
Yeah.
really packs a punch.
Okay.
It shows you understand how EHRs impact a real healthcare setting.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if you have any certifications related to specific EHR systems,
Yep.
definitely mention those.
Okay.
It shows dedication.
Right. This is gold. All right. What about the next question?
Okay.
I'm guessing they're going to want to know about my attention to detail, especially with something as important as medical records.
Absolutely.
Right.
You read my mind.
Okay.
Question number 2 is, how do you ensure the accuracy and completeness of medical records?
Oh.
And you nailed it.
Yeah.
Accuracy is paramount here.
Right.
The interview guide emphasizes showcasing your process,
Right.
how you verify information,
Mm-hmm.
double-check data entry,
Yeah.
and reconcile any discrepancies you find.
So like data validation tools
Yes.
or regular audits would be good to mention.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to get specific.
Okay.
If you've ever had to chase down a doctor for missing chart notes,
Oh, yeah.
that shows initiative.
It does.
The avoid section in RoleCatcher warns against vague answers.
Mhm.
They want to see that you're proactive and meticulous.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's keep this momentum going.
Okay.
What's the next question on the list?
Question number 3 is all about staying current.
Huh?
How do you stay up to date with industry regulations and standards related to medical records management?
Okay.
This is where those certifications we mentioned earlier really come into play.
Right. Things like the RHIA or CPH.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those show a commitment to professional standards,
Uh-huh.
but RoleCatcher reminds us that it's not just about certifications.
Okay.
It's about demonstrating that you're actively engaged in the field.
So attending conferences,
Yeah.
being part of professional organizations, even reading industry journals, those all count.
Absolutely, they do.
Oh,
Healthcare is constantly changing.
yeah.
So the interviewer wants to see that you're committed to continuous learning.
Makes sense.
And a little tip from the approach section.
Okay.
Mention specific examples,
Okay.
like a recent journal article you found insightful,
Uh-huh.
or a conference that helped you learn a new skill.
Okay, so tie it back to real-world examples.
Exactly.
Okay, listeners, are you taking notes?
Yeah, this is important.
This is pure gold.
It is.
Let's move on to question number 4.
Right.
How do you manage and prioritize your workload in a fast-paced environment?
Oh.
Now, this is something I think everyone can relate to.
It's universal. It's
Yeah.
a universal challenge, and
Right.
one that's especially important in a demanding field like healthcare.
Right.
The interviewer is really trying to gauge
Mm-hmm.
your organizational skills,
Okay.
your ability to handle stress,
Mhm.
and your efficiency under pressure.
So just saying I'm a great multitasker probably won't cut it.
Not quite.
Right.
RoleCatcher's insights suggest being specific.
Okay.
Talk about the actual systems you use to stay organized.
Yeah.
Maybe as a color-coded spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Or a project management software.
Okay.
And think about times you've successfully juggled multiple deadlines or had to make tough decisions about what to prioritize.
And if I've ever had to delegate tasks effectively, that's worth mentioning too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anything that shows you can handle a heavy workload
Yeah.
and still deliver results is a win.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI features can be incredibly helpful.
Oh, yeah.
They can analyze job descriptions and suggest ways to tailor your responses to what that specific employer is looking for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their AI is like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
I love that.
It can help you highlight the
Mhm.
skills and experiences that matter most to each employer,
Okay.
giving you a real advantage.
Like having a secret weapon.
It is.
Okay. Let's move on to question number 5.
Okay.
This one sounds a bit trickier.
Yeah.
Can you describe a time when you had to resolve a conflict with a healthcare provider or patient related to medical records?
The conflict resolution question.
Right.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
And it's all about showcasing your diplomacy,
Mhm.
communication skills, and your ability to handle sensitive situations.
So if I've ever had to mediate a disagreement between a doctor and a nurse about a patient's chart, that would be a good example to use.
Perfect.
Okay.
Choose a situation where you successfully navigated a tough spot,
Yeah.
stayed professional, and found a resolution that worked for everyone involved.
Right.
RoleCatcher reminds us to focus on the positive,
Okay.
what you learned from the experience and
Yeah.
how it made you a better communicator or problem solver.
And don't just tell the story.
Right.
Connect it back to the role.
You got it.
Okay.
The career guide actually mentions that medical records managers often have limited patient interaction.
Oh, that's interesting.
So this is your chance to show
Yeah.
that you can still build relationships and communicate effectively with healthcare providers and patients when you need to.
Okay. So even though you may not be interacting with them daily,
Right.
you're still prepared to do so. All right, listeners, we're halfway through these questions.
Wow.
How you feeling so far?
I'm feeling good.
Ready to tackle the next batch?
Bring it on.
Great.
Right.
What's up next on our deep dive into the interview guide?
It's a big one.
Okay.
How do you ensure the security and privacy of medical records?
Oh, wow.
This is all about demonstrating your understanding of HIPAA regulations
Right.
and your commitment to protecting sensitive patient information.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. This question feels especially relevant
Oh, yeah.
with all the data breaches we hear about these days.
It's a big concern.
Healthcare data is incredibly sensitive.
For sure.
There's absolutely no room for error.
Absolutely not.
You're hitting on a major concern for any healthcare organization.
Yeah. They want to know that you not only understand HIPAA regulations,
Right.
but that you have a concrete plan for putting them into action.
So talking about strong password policies,
Yes.
access controls,
Mm-hmm.
data encryption,
Mm-hmm.
Those are all good starting points, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But RoleCatcher's insights on this question encourage going deeper.
Okay.
It's not just about listing off security measures.
Mm-hmm.
You want to show that you understand the why behind them,
Okay.
how you actually applied them in real-world situations.
So maybe I could talk about a time when I had to train staff on new security protocols or describe a system I implemented for securely disposing of confidential patient information.
Exactly.
Okay.
Those kinds of examples show you're not just talking the talk.
Right.
We're walking the walk when it comes to data security.
I like that.
And this ties back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
How technology is changing the game for medical records managers.
Right. The career guide talks about the shift towards cloud-based systems and interconnected networks, which definitely adds new layers of complexity to security.
Absolutely. And that's why employers are looking for candidates who are proactive and constantly seeking ways to stay ahead of the curve in terms of data security.
Right.
Show them you're that candidate.
Great advice.
All right.
Okay, let's move on to question number 7.
Okay.
This one feels a bit more technical.
Yeah.
Can you describe your experience with coding and billing processes related to medical records?
It is technical, but it's also incredibly important because accurate coding and billing are essential to the financial well-being of any healthcare organization.
Right.
They want to see that you understand how those pieces fit together.
So mentioning my knowledge of medical coding systems like ICD-10 and CPT would be a good place to start.
Definitely.
And I could talk about any experience I have with submitting claims, working with insurance companies, or even resolving billing disputes.
That's a great foundation.
Okay.
But remember, RoleCatcher's interview guide always emphasizes going beyond the basics.
Okay, so more than just the fundamentals.
Right.
Okay.
Think about how you've applied those skills to make a real difference.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I'm familiar with ICD-10, I could talk about a time when I caught a coding error.
Perfect.
That saved the organization money.
Yeah.
Or maybe describe a process I streamlined to improve billing efficiency.
Now you're speaking their language.
Okay, good.
Those kinds of real-world examples demonstrate that you understand the impact of coding and billing on the organization's bottom line.
And I could even tie my analytical skills here.
Oh, absolutely.
The career guide talks about data analysis being a key skill for medical records managers.
Yes.
And there's definitely a lot of data involved in coding and billing.
For sure.
Yeah.
If you've used data analysis to improve coding accuracy, or pinpoint areas where billing processes could be more efficient. Those are definitely examples worth sharing.
Okay, this is great. I'm feeling more prepared with each question we break down.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
All right, ready for the final question from the RoleCatcher guide?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
How do you ensure the quality and integrity of data in medical records?
Oh, wow.
This one might feel like a culmination of everything we've talked about so far.
It does.
Yeah.
Accuracy, attention to detail, knowledge of regulations, security.
Yes.
It all ties together here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is your chance to showcase a comprehensive understanding of what it takes to be a successful medical records manager.
Okay.
Talk about data validation, audits, clear data entry guidelines, and how you ensure everyone on your team is following best practices.
So I could mention things like using data validation tools, conducting regular audits, establishing clear data entry standards, and working closely with IT to ensure data integrity within the EHR system.
You're painting a picture of a thorough and proactive approach.
Okay, good.
Which is exactly what they want to see.
Okay.
But remember, the interviewer also wants to see you in this answer.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to bring in those specific examples.
Exactly.
Maybe I could talk about a time when I noticed a pattern of inconsistencies in data entry and took the initiative to develop a new training program for the whole department.
Now you're talking.
Okay.
That example showcases initiative, problem-solving skills, and a commitment to continuous improvement.
Okay.
All qualities that make a strong medical records manager.
And it highlights the leadership aspect of the role too, right?
Absolutely.
The career guide emphasizes the importance of supervising and training staff.
Yes.
So this example shows I can handle those responsibilities.
And speaking of leadership, this might be a good moment to bring in the career guide's insights on career stages and advancement paths. as you gain experience and demonstrate your capabilities,
Yeah.
there's real potential to move into higher level roles.
That's exciting to hear.
It is.
I'm definitely interested in growth opportunities.
Yeah.
What kinds of positions could I eventually work towards?
Well, the career guide mentions roles like Director of Medical Records.
Okay.
Or even Chief Medical Information Officer.
Wow.
Of course, those positions often require additional certifications,
Yeah.
like the Registered Health Information Administrator or RHIA.
Right. And the certified professional in healthcare information and management systems.
Yes.
Or CPA Chimes.
Exactly.
So I've heard those certifications can really open doors.
They absolutely can.
Yeah.
And they demonstrate a real commitment to professional development, which is something any employer will appreciate.
This whole conversation has been incredibly helpful.
I'm glad to hear it.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of what it takes to succeed as a medical records manager.
That's fantastic.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI features can add another layer of personalization to your prep.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Their AI can analyze job descriptions, pull out those keywords and skills that each employer is looking for, and then suggest ways to tailor your responses.
It's like having a custom-made roadmap for each interview you go on.
I love that.
It's pretty amazing.
And let's not forget about their video practice feature.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It lets you record yourself answering these questions and then get AI-powered feedback on everything from your delivery to your content.
It's an incredible tool for building confidence and making sure you're presenting your best self during the interview.
Yeah.
You get to practice in a safe space and really refine your approach.
So to all our listeners out there getting ready to interview for a medical records manager position, I highly recommend checking out RoleCatcher.
Their resources are fantastic.
Their resources and AI features are game changers.
Absolutely.
It's an investment in your future that will pay off in a big way.
It will.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But don't worry, we're not quite done yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's more to explore in part 3 of our deep dive into the world of medical records manager interviews.
We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into medical records manager interviews.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah. From understanding those core responsibilities to tackling those tough interview questions.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I feel like there's always more to learn.
Always.
When it comes to interview prep.
Yeah, it's a process.
So besides just nailing those questions from the RoleCatcher interview guide, what else can I do to really stand out as a candidate?
Well, remember that pros and cons section we touched on earlier from the career guide?
Yeah.
Addressing those cons head on can actually be a powerful way to show you've really thought critically about the role.
So instead of pretending like the job is all sunshine and roses, I should acknowledge some of the challenges.
Yeah.
Like those high stress levels we talked about, or the need to constantly stay updated on regulations.
Exactly.
Okay.
And don't just mention those challenges.
Yeah.
Talk about how you've overcome similar obstacles in the past. Or how you plan to approach them in this role.
So it's about turning those potential weaknesses into strengths.
Exactly.
By showing I'm prepared and ready to face them head on.
It shows maturity, self-awareness, and a willingness to tackle those tough parts of the job.
That's a great tip.
Okay, good.
What else should I keep in mind?
Think about your career goals and how this specific role fits into the big picture.
Right. The career guide outlines those different career stages for medical records managers from entry level all the way up to senior management.
Exactly.
So I should be prepared to talk about where I see myself fitting into that trajectory.
Precisely.
Sharing
your aspirations and how this position helps you get there demonstrates that you're invested in your career and see this as more than just a job.
It shows the interviewer that I'm looking ahead and thinking long term.
Exactly. And while we've touched on certifications before, it's worth emphasizing again. Mentioning those relevant certifications, like the RHIA or the CPHMs, can really set you apart from other candidates.
Yeah. It's a clear signal that I'm dedicated to professional growth and staying at the forefront of the field.
Absolutely.
Plus, it shows I'm willing to go the extra mile to invest in my skills and knowledge.
Exactly.
Wow. This whole conversation has been so helpful.
I'm glad.
I'm feeling so much more confident and prepared.
Yeah, it's great.
To rock this interview.
I love it.
Thanks to all of this great advice
You got this.
And remember,
yeah,
RoleCatcher's AI features are there
yes,
to give you that extra boost of personalized prep.
their platform is amazing.
It can analyze job descriptions, identify those keywords and skills that each employer is looking for,
Yeah.
and then suggest ways to tailor my responses.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
Seriously.
You get insights specific to each company and each position you apply for.
And their video practice feature is a game changer, too.
It is.
You get to practice answering those tough questions and then receive AI-powered feedback on everything from my delivery to my content.
It's like having a virtual interview coach guiding you every step of the way.
So listeners,
yes,
if you haven't already, head over to RoleCatcher and sign up for a free account.
Definitely do that.
Their resources and AI features are an incredible investment in your future.
They're a game changer.
They can make a real difference in how you approach your job search and help you stand out as a top candidate.
Absolutely.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of medical records manager interviews.
It's been a journey.
We've explored the ins and outs of the role, tackled those challenging questions, and even uncovered some hidden gems in those RoleCatcher resources.
Well, lots of good stuff.
But most importantly, we hope you're walking away from this episode feeling empowered and prepared to showcase your skills and passion to potential employers.
It's all about confidence.
You've got this.
You do.
Remember, you've got the knowledge, the drive, and now the tools to ace that interview.
You're ready.
Now, before you go, we want to leave you with a final thought.
All right, I like it.
Take a moment to really reflect on why you're drawn to this career path.
That's important.
What is it about being a medical records manager that excites you?
Good.
Is it the challenge of managing that complex information? The opportunity to make a real difference in the healthcare system?
It could be.
Or maybe it's that constant learning and growth
that
comes with being in such a dynamic field.
There are a lot of reasons.
Whatever your motivations are, let them fuel your preparation.
Absolutely.
And really let them shine through during your interview.
It'll make a difference.
And don't forget to explore
the
full range of resources available on RoleCatcher.
They're fantastic.
Your career guide, interview guide, and AI features are there to support you every step of the way.
They are a great resource.
We're cheering you on.
Go get them.
Go out there and make it happen.
You got this.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time for another insightful journey
Let's go.
into the world of career exploration and interview mastery.